God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 47 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey. This is my healing journey. And the expressions and opinions are my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, to my healing journey, and to Your Journey is Not Over. Neither of the three are to be used, copied, nor edited in any way without my consent. Well, as I've spoken in the last 2 episodes about depression, about my depression, reflecting back, I now see I didn't have the telltale signs of depression. I wasn't emotional. Numb is how I describe that time in my life. I didn't sleep a lot, a normal 6 to 8 hours a night, but I now see I turned to food. That was my comfort. The lack of food just 4 years prior had triggered a childhood trauma of mine, a reoccurring trauma that left me feeling just like I did as a child, helpless and hopeless. My worst fear had come true of going without food as an adult. So without realizing that, well, that trauma festered. And once I had the food, I could have what I wanted. Our cabinets were stocked. Our fridge was stocked. Our freezer was stocked full of food. I then ate to eat. It was my comfort. I would eat even when I wasn't hungry, and I would know that too. I would walk into my kitchen and tell myself, "You're not even hungry," and still get something to eat. Being triggered and traumatized again, I now see, is why I turned to food. The lack of mindset that I had. Well, it was nice and reassuring to have the endless amounts of food that my late husband made sure that we had. He knew I'd suffered and went without shortly before we got together, and he knew how hard it was on me, how traumatizing it was for me. So he was obsessive about keeping everything stocked up. So my form of depression was I turned to food. It became like my best friend, my go-to, my comfort. And I gained 50 pounds while in lockdown. That's a lot of weight, even though I was on my treadmill every single day. That wasn't enough to work off the calories I was taking in every day. And with depression, as I now know and have experienced, we either go from one extreme or the other. Some gain weight, some lose weight. Well, I gained weight, almost like I was trying to escape the past traumas, the unresolved traumas, the hurt, the pain, the losses, the disappointments, the wrong turns, and the back roads. Escape it all, and most, like myself, turn to food to do that. I again now realize and understand that yes, I was depressed. I was severely depressed, and food was the tool that I used to cope. As I've said, we each deal, we store, we compartmentalize, and we move in our own unique ways. It's our coping skills that, again, much like myself, we developed at an early age. We had to develop to even survive. And it's all that we know. What I do now know and realize is that traumas, unresolved traumas, are PTSD from abuse, whether it be sexual, mental, physical, or verbal, affects so many people, millions. I find it quite strange how society acts like this is all brand new. You know, people with agoraphobia, anxiety, panic attacks, PTSD, depression, and mental illness. It's not all brand new, it's generational. People learn to ignore, to overlook, to pacify, to walk on eggshells, to maneuver around those and their manic episodes. Again, much like myself with my very own mother, much like my whole family when it came to my mother. And of course, always forgiven for whatever she did. Again, overlooked. And as my grandma described her mother, my great grandmother, Well, to my grandma, her daughter, my mother, was just playing repeats, reruns. And I'm sure it traumatized my grandma, again, as it did me with my very own daughter, to watch it be repeated, another generation. So this is not all brand new. It's issues that are just now being addressed, coming to the forefront. The light is being shined on these topics. More people are speaking out and sharing their journeys. And that's what we need. More people to shed the shame and say farewell to the fear and stand up and speak up. It truly helps others to know you are not alone. Every single human suffers from something. We all learn to hide it well, to smile through the pain, to give the illusions, some again like myself, without even trying, but give the illusion that I've had this perfect little life all wrapped up in a beautiful red bow. It's perceptions, what others perceive, without even knowing me nor my journey. It's time to break illusions, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm keeping it real. As I get told all the time, I started a new trend. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to reflect, to understand, to heal, and to release your past. It's okay to be real, to be authentic, to be you, and own your journey. And as I say, you live to tell about it, to help, to inspire, to encourage, to uplift someone who is standing where we all once stood. And it is okay to speak up and speak out about traumas, betrayal, our hurt, our pain. Speaking out makes us relatable, and that makes us human. Before I close today, I do want to share something, and it's something I learned a couple years back. At my work, we were all geared up for Christmas. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was coming on TV that very night. You know, the annual, one time a year it comes on? Well, I told my boss, I've watched that show every year for so many years, and I could never figure out what was wrong with the doll on Misfit Island. I've wondered this my whole life. Again, I see, observe, and think of things no one else does. My boss said, that's a good question. Well, a short time later, she came to my desk, and I said, let me tell you this. I love my boss. She's one of my angels, and she will find the answer to any question I have, no matter how off the wall or random my questions are sometimes. Well, she had the answer for me about the doll on Misfit Island. Well, the doll suffered clinical depression after being abandoned and unloved by her owner. Mind you, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was made in 1964. So, therefore, that's proof, and that backs up my thoughts as to anxiety, panic attacks, depression, PTSD, mental illness is not all brand new. That show is 64 years old. That's just food for thought, and I wanted to share just a little piece of history. I do not own the rights to the things that I chose to share today. Make it happen. Shock everyone. Shock yourself. This mission is personal. It takes a lot to start over again, but you owe it to yourself to become and do everything you dreamed of. Be brave. Trust the magic of new beginnings. It's your journey. Learn to enjoy, not endure your journey. Please remember you're magical, and there's magic on the other side of fear. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday, listen in, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been